Hello students, welcome to my channel Learning History Made Easy. In today's video, I will be explaining about the First War of Indian Independence, 1857. Before going into the video, if anyone is seeing the channel for the first time or if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe and share it with your friends, and also click the bell button to receive notifications whenever I upload new videos. So without wasting time, let us get into today's video. So as I have told, today's video is about the First War of Indian Independence. Okay, the First War of Indian Independence. It happened in 1857. Okay, now seeing about this incident, the revolt of 1857, that is the First War of Indian Independence, is also called as the Revolt of 1857. The Revolt of 1857 has a unique place in the history of India. It is also called as the Sepoy mutiny. Sepoy mutiny. So it has three different names. That is, it is either called as First War of Indian Independence or the Revolt of 1857, or it is also called as the Sepoy mutiny. So now let us see what are the causes for this First War of Indian Independence. So considering the causes, the first cause is the political cause. Political cause. So the main political cause was the expansionist policy of the British. Expansionist policy, which was followed by the British. The expansionist policy of the East India Company was an important cause. The British always interfered in the internal matters of Indian states. Okay, internal matters of Indian states were always interfered by the British. That was not liked by the Indians. So, internal matters of Indian states, the British always interfered, and that was not liked by the Indians. Again, one more point, if you see, was the policy followed by the British, that is the policy of divide and rule. British always followed a policy of divide and rule. That also was not liked by the Indians. Again, two more things which they did, the British did as a part of their expansionist policy was the subsidiary alliance, and the doctrine of lapse. We have already studied about both these policies, subsidiary alliance and doctrine of lapse, in the previous chapters. So this policy, the policy of subsidiary alliance and doctrine of lapse, also enraged the Indian princes. So because of all these reasons, one is the expansionist policy, I am writing it again, the expansionist policy which was followed by the East India Company. Then the British always was interfered in the internal matters of Indian states. Sorry, they followed the policy of divide and rule. Then their policy of subsidiary alliance and doctrine of lapse. All these reasons made the kings, princes, tenants, all of them angry against the British. They were angry towards the British. Indian kings, Indian princes, courtiers, tenants, all were angry towards the British, and that was the political, all these together can be said as the political cause for the First War of Indian Independence or the 1857 revolt. So this was the political cause. Now let us see the second cause. The second cause is the administrative cause. Administrative cause. So what was the problem in the administration during that time? Now again, the British, they introduced a new system of administration. This replaced the Indian traditional system. See, Indians had a very traditional system of administration. When the British came, they introduced a new system of administration which replaced our traditional system. So that became a problem for the Indians. So because of this new system of administration, many many local administrators as well as the local officers, they became unemployed. Okay, they became unemployed because British have a new system of administration, and these local administrators were not needed for that. So many local administrators became unemployed and they also turned against the British. These local administrators also turned against the British. Now British, they introduced something called as rule of law and equality before law. Equality before law. This was introduced by the British, and this rule of law and equality before law, it created a kind of a suspicion in the mind of traditional Hindus and Muslims. Hindus and Muslims. Okay, so here the British introduced a rule of law and equality before law. This created a kind of suspicion in the minds of traditional Hindus and Muslims. Why? Because traditional Hindus followed the laws of Dharmashastra, and traditional Muslims followed the Shariyat law. So this law which they followed was different from the rule of law and equality before law introduced by the British. So that created a kind of suspicion in the minds of Hindus. So that also was a problem which made the Indians turn against the British. Now again, one more point you can add in the administrative cost, that is, Indians, they were not given higher jobs. Okay, they were not given higher jobs in administration. Indians were never given higher job in administration, and also the salaries paid to the Indian employees were far less than their English counterpart. Salaries to Indian employees were far less if compared to their English counterparts. So all these were the administrative costs for the first war of Indian independence, or the 1857 revolt. So next we'll move on to the third cause, which is the economic cause. Economic cause. Now the East India Company followed a policy of economic exploitation towards India. Economic exploitation. So how did they follow the policy of economic exploitation? They utilized the sources and wealth of India. All the sources and all the wealth of India was utilized by them for their selfish ends. Okay, utilized for their selfish ends. For their needs, their profit, they used all the sources and wealth of India. So in that way they economically exploited India. They, according to them, they converted India into a supplier of raw materials. India was considered as a supplier of raw materials and also a market for their finished goods. Market for their finished goods. So India was considered by the British as a supplier of raw materials and a market for finished goods. So when this situation happened, when all the raw materials were taken by them, what happened was our artisans and craftsmen became unemployed. So unemployment was a big issue because of all these things, and Indian handicrafts suffered. Indian handicraft suffered because we are not having raw materials. And also again one more kind of economic exploitation was the land revenue policy. Okay, the land revenue policy was also a kind of economic exploitation. So in all this way, India was economically exploited by the British, and that also became a reason for the First War of Indian Independence or the 1857 revolt. Now just let us go through the points which we have studied till now. First War of Indian Independence. The revolt of 1857 has a unique place in the history of India. It is also called as the Sepoy mutiny or the First War of Indian Independence. Causes. Political cause. The expansionist policy of the East India Company was an important cause. The British interfered in the internal matters of Indian states. They also followed the policy of divide and rule. The subsidiary alliance and the doctrine of lapse enraged Indian princes. Because of all these reasons, the kings, princes, their courtiers and tenants were angry with the British. Administrative causes. The British introduced a new system of administration which replaced the traditional system. Many local administrators became unemployed and turned against the British. The introduction of rule of law and equality before law developed suspicion in the minds of traditional Hindus and Muslims who were influenced by the laws of Dharmashastras and Shariyat. Indians were not given higher jobs in the administration, and the salaries paid to Indian employees were far less than their English counterparts. Economic causes. The East India Company followed the policy of economic exploitation. They utilized the sources and wealth of India for their selfish ends. They converted India into a supplier of raw material and a market for their finished goods. This led to the unemployment of artisans and craftsmen. Indian handicrafts suffered. The land revenue policy of the British were detrimental to the farmers. So now let us continue with the causes. Now if you see the next cause, that is the fourth cause, is the socio-religious causes. Social and religious causes. Okay, now let us see what are the social and religious causes. The British thought that they belonged to a superior race. See, the British always believed that they belonged to a superior race. Superior race. And they passed the Social Reform Act, which developed suspicion in the minds of Hindus and Muslims. The Social Reform Act, which was introduced by the British, created a kind of suspicion in the mind of Hindus and Muslims. Okay, there was some kind of suspicion in their mind because they thought that it might affect their traditional customs and practices. And also one more problem was East India Company, they gave a free hand to the Christian missionaries in the field of religion. They gave the Christian missionaries a kind of free hand in the matter of religion. Christian missionaries were given free hand in the matters of religion. And the missionaries, these Christian missionaries, they were very active in schools, hospitals, prisons, etc. Prisons, marketplaces, in all these areas, they were very active. Okay, these Christian missionaries were very active in all these places in the spread of Christianity. Okay, spread of Christianity. And they tried to convert Indians into Christianity. So this also was a big problem for Indian Hindus and Muslims. So the Christian missionaries, they tried to spread Christianity among Indians. So that also created a dislike in the minds of Indians. And also again one more thing was English education. English education. The spread of English education and culture. These Christian missionaries also tried to spread English education and culture. That also created suspicion among Indians about the survival of their religion. So all these together was the social and religious cause for the revolt of 1857. So next, let us move on to the military cause. Okay, military cause. Okay, so considering the military cause, Indian soldiers, what all problems did they face? Indian soldiers in the British Army were humiliated by the English officers. They were humiliated by English officers. The Indian soldiers in the army were humiliated by English officers, and they were also paid very low salaries. Their salaries were very low, and they were also not promoted to higher ranks. Okay, there was no promotion, salary was very low, and they were humiliated by the officers. They were not promoted above the rank of Subedar. Above the rank of Subedar. And according to the General Service Enlistment Act 1856, Indian soldiers could be posted anywhere. They posted Indian soldiers anywhere. They could be posted anywhere in the British Empire. In the British Empire. And this was against the religious beliefs. Why? Because Hindus during that time believed that crossing the sea was a sin. Crossing the sea was a sin. So if they were posted in a place where they have to cross the sea, that became a problem for Hindus. So that all these military causes also created frustration or suspicion in the mind of Indians, and that was the military cause for the revolt of 1857. Now finally, let us see what was the immediate cause. Together with all these causes, what was the immediate cause for the revolt of 1857? So here what happened was British introduced a new Enfield rifle. Okay, British introduced a new Enfield rifle, and this Enfield rifle's cartridge had a cover. Okay, cover of cartridge had to be torn with teeth before loading. Okay, before loading. So before the cartridge is loaded into the rifle, the cartridge's cover should be taken off, bitten off with teeth. Okay, so the cartridge cover should be torn off with teeth before loading into the rifle. And during this time, a rumor spread that this cover of the cartridge was smeared with the fat of cow and pig. There was a rumor that the cover of this cartridge was smeared with cow fat and pig fat. Now considering this, the religious beliefs, cow was sacred to Hindus. Cow was a sacred animal to Hindus, and pig was prohibited for Muslims. Okay, pig was prohibited for Muslims. So this became a very big issue, and the Indian sepoys, Indian soldiers, felt that the British were trying to spoil their religion. So that because of this rumor, the Indian soldiers felt that the British was trying to spoil their religion, and they refused to use it. They told we cannot use the rifle. And because of this, when the Indian soldiers refused to use it, the British forced them. The British even threatened them. British forced and threatened them to use the rifle, and this started the revolt of 1857. Started the revolt. Okay, this was the immediate cause for the revolt of 1857. So Enfield rifle, cartridge had a cover, rumor spread that it was smeared with cow fat and pig fat, and the Indian soldiers refused to use it, and when British forced and threatened them, it started the revolt. So these were the main causes for the revolt of 1857. So just let us go through the points once more. So the next cause, social and religious cause. The British thought that they belonged to a superior race and humiliated the Indians. They passed the Social Reform Act, which developed suspicion in the mind of Hindus and Muslims. The East India Company gave free hand for the Christian missionaries in the field of religion. The missionaries were active in schools, hospitals, prisons, and marketplaces in the spread of Christianity. They tried to convert the Indians to Christianity. The spread of English education and culture through missionaries and convents created suspicion among Indians about the survival of their religion. Military cause. Indian soldiers in the British Army were humiliated by the English officers. They were paid low salaries and not promoted above the rank of Subedar. According to the General Service Enlistment Act of 1856, Indian soldiers could be posted anywhere in the British Empire, and this was against their religious belief. Hindus believed that crossing the sea was a sin. Immediate cause. The British introduced new Enfield rifle. The cover of the cartridge had to be torn with teeth to load the cartridge into rifle. There was a rumor that the cartridge was smeared with the fat of cow and pig. Cow was sacred to Hindus and pig was prohibited for Muslims. The Indian sepoys felt that the British were trying to spoil their religion. The Indian soldiers refused to use the rifle, and British forced and threatened the Indian soldiers to use them. This started the revolt against the British. So all these were the causes of the revolt of 1857, or the first war of Indian independence. So I hope all the points are very clear. In the next video, I'll be explaining about the course and result of the revolt of 1857. So please do like, share and subscribe to my channel. Your likes and shares will be of a great encouragement for me to make more and more videos. So I hope to see you all soon in the coming video. Thank you for watching.